vodka is made from? That is a question we get asked quite a bit, or people already have their own assumptions of what vodka is made from. So today I am here to kind of dispel some myths, talk a little bit about what vodka is and what it's made from. My name's Tim. I'm from Elma Wine and Liquor, and if you've tuned in, you've found our YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in. What is vodka made from? Well, first of all, let's just back it up a step and talk about what vodka is, period. So vodka is a distilled spirit from any type of mash bill, any type of grain, or not even grain, any type of mash bill that is distilled to 190 proofs. That's 95% alcohol during that distillation process. 95%. In the EU, European Union, it has to be distilled in 96% alcohol, 192 proof. That is the level that it has to be to reach during distillation to be called vodka. So take that mash, distill it up to that really, really high proof, and then you water it right back down. Most vodkas you see on the shelf are bottled at 40% alcohol, 80 proof, or some of them you'll see up at 100 proof. Occasionally you'll see one bottled at 190 proof. Comparable products would be like Everclear, but those are a little bit less common. For the most part, vodka's bottled at 80 proofs. So we have this distillation process. What exactly, a lot of times on labels of vodkas, you will see the number of times it's distilled, 5 times distilled. I don't know if that one has it, but you get what I'm saying. It's very common to see the number of distillations on the vodka. Does that mean anything? Yes, it does. The amount of times that those alcohol vapors pass through the distillation process, through the stills, every time it passes through, it kind of strips out some of the impurities, some of the bad chemicals, some of the imperfections, and kind of narrows down into that crisp, clean, clear alcohol that most people prefer to drink. The flip side of distilling too many times is that you could be stripping out any of the natural flavors from the mash bill or from the original product that you used to create the vodka. So you distill it 100 times, you're going to end up with a completely flavorless product, which is you might be going for it. That's fine. The next step after the distillation is the dilution and then filtration, combination of both. So 190 proof is where it has to be distilled to in order to be called vodka, but they're bottling at 80 proof. How do they get back to that proof? They add water. So people talk about the number of distillations as being important, and it is. You can have some very bad vodka if it's only distilled once and in a bad way. But the water that they add in after that distillation is just as important, because now the last step is filtration. So if you were adding in bad water, heavily tainted water, heavily mineral water, different things that add elements that some people might not like, you're going to end up with a not great vodka. So adding in that water, watering it down to 80 proof, and then the filtration process. So stripping out any of those last imperfections and impurities before it goes into the bottle. So that's kind of the process of how vodka is made. So we touched on the distillation being important, the quality of the water that goes into it afterwards being important, and that filtration process. So now to the crux of the question that you came here for: what are vodkas made from? Well, as I kind of alluded to earlier, they can be made out of anything, basically. So in front of me, we will start with pretty well-known vodka, Absolute. It's been around for a long time, Swedish brand. This is distilled from wheat. So winter wheat, regular wheat, there are a bunch of different vodkas, a lot of vodkas that use wheat out there on the market. Gives it a nice, smooth, kind of slightly sweet taste, very easy drinking. It's kind of something that you probably had a wheat-based vodka plenty of times, didn't even realize it. Another grain that is really popular for vodka is rye. So this is Belvedere vodka from Poland. Used organic rye grains to make it. The rye grain tends to leave a little bit of a spicier note on the finish, which some people really enjoy. Gives it a little bit more of a bite. Rye whiskey versus bourbon whiskey. I really like a rye whiskey because of that little bite that it leaves on the end. So same thing with vodka. Just kind of adds a little texture, lets you know that you're drinking something, doesn't go down too smooth. And then we have Syrah vodka from France. This is made out of grapes, so essentially wine. Crush, ferment the grapes, turn it into wine, and then distill that wine. Grapes add a little bit of fruity flavors, a little bit different, a little different texture, a little different flavor to it. Kind of interesting, a little bit different. Might want to give one of those a try sometime. There are a couple other vodkas made out of grapes on the market. Don't get confused with grape vodka that you'll see from Three Olives and other brands like that, which are flavored after the fact with grape flavor. These are just distilled from grapes. And next up, we're still in Poland with a potato vodka. I know there's a lot of myths out there that all vodka is made out of potatoes. Somehow, traditionally, people think that potatoes were the only grain used to make vodka. It's not true, but they still do make potato vodkas quite regularly. Lutsasava is one of those great brands that does. One of the things that I love about potato vodkas is that it has like a very creamy texture to it. Very interesting, a little bit different, a little bit weightier, heavier than a lot of other vodkas. And like I said, that nice creamy texture to it. From there, we're going to jump over to Japan. Haku vodka is made from rice. So another grain, a little bit different. Also has a little bit of a creamy texture to it. Just adds a different flavor element. Nothing crazy. If you drank a wheat and a rice side by side, you might not even necessarily know it, especially depending on the brand and how many times it's distilled, and what kind of water they're using to water it down. Coming back over to Texas, or the U.S. in general, we have Tito's, which most people are aware of, is made from corn. So another different grain. Corn does have a little bit of a higher starch content, which starch turns into sugar, tends to be a little bit sweeter, which is why I think it's become such a popular vodka over the last few years. People tend to like things a little bit sweeter. That's what Tito's is. That corn has a little bit of a sweeter element to it. And then last, but definitely not least, and definitely not actually last, there are plenty of other types of grains and fruits and things that vodka can be made out of. But we have a Weber Ranch Blue Weber Agave vodka. So Blue Weber Agave, you may be familiar with as the primary ingredient for tequila. This company decided to start making vodka out of it. Also a little bit sweeter. Agave is known for its sweetness. This has a nice, sweet, clean taste to it. Really interesting product as well, so might be worth a try. Try them all side by side. Find a couple other new ones, and I'd love to hear from you. What other products, what other vodkas that are made out of different products you've been drinking or you've had, so that we can expand our selection here at the store and just expand our knowledge on what else is out there. One other aspect of vodka that gets asked a lot or talked about a lot is the gluten-free aspect. So, like I said, I mentioned that these two, this one's made from wheat and this one's made from rye, which anybody that's gluten intolerant or has celiac disease knows that they can't necessarily have those grains. Everything from here over, grapes, potatoes, rice, corn, agave, is all gluten-free. Some of the products put it right on their labels, gluten-free, which is helpful to people. Some do not, because their facilities might have wheat or other gluten grains around the facility, and they don't want to take the chance of labeling it and having some kind of cross-contamination in the bottle or on the caps or whatever that could affect people. An interesting process about distillation in general actually kills any gluten protein that was in the grain. So I'm not a doctor. Don't take this as medical advice, but vodkas or any hard liquor that is distilled from wheat or rye does still lose their gluten properties in that distillation process. But unless you see it labeled on the bottle, I wouldn't necessarily trust it because, like I said, there could be cross-contamination in the facility. If you only have a minor intolerance and you talk to your doctor or talk to somebody else that's had that vodka, then you might want to go ahead. But in general, there are a lot of vodkas made from products that are not gluten for to start with. So feel free to look around for those. And like I said, look right on the labels on some of them. Some of them will put little neck tags on them that say gluten-free, but not all of them, even though they should be gluten-free, will label them just out of that fear of liability reasons. So I hope that helps all of you gluten-free people out there. So hope you enjoyed this video. Really appreciate it if you could share it with a friend. Hit the like, subscribe button, turn on your notifications, as we'll be posting more and more regular videos on this channel. And look forward to hearing from you in the future.